Good afternoon, Tabor. I'm Garrett Simmons.
And I'm Greg Price.
And welcome to another edition of Sports from the Stool. Even though hockey season's over, we're going to start with hockey. The hot topic of the day is Yaroslav Halak, traded by the Montreal Canadiens for Lars Eller and Ian Schultz. I guess people will be fairly familiar with Schultz. He was with the Calgary Hitmen, a big power forward. Pretty good player. Lars Ulrich is a guy from Denmark. I guess pretty top-level prospect. 13th overall pick a couple years ago. What's your reaction? Fairly surprised with this move?
Yeah. I don't know, just from what I've been reading on internet reports, it's not like this is, cream of the crop prospects. I mean, solid prospects, but not cream of the crop blue chippers that are, have their way paved in gold to the NHL. But no, I'm quite shocked considering basically his stock is as high as it has ever been. And you get basically two mid-tier prospects.
Was there a better goaltender in the playoffs than Yaroslav Halak? Maybe in the last 5 years, was there a better goaltending performance than that? I don't know. I was thinking they were going to get at least a roster player, at least one roster player, defenseman. They need one more defenseman. They obviously need some more scoring up front. I mean, their lineup produced next to nothing to the playoff run except for Camilleri. So really, and you're going to put all this pressure on Carey Price. He's got to play 60, 70 games now.
And let's not forget, you're resting your hopes on a player that's been booed mercilessly by the Montreal faithful. They don't like him very much. I think I've read a couple articles where he's actually said he wants to be out of town. And now this is the guy with the fragile ego and psyche that you're now pinning all your hopes on.
Yeah, I don't know. I really can't see the logic behind this move, but I know Halak had more trade value than Price did, obviously. So if you're going to move one guy, he's the guy to move if you want to get trade value. But I don't see how they got value back in return on this pick. But
there must have been, the only thing I can gather is that they had talked with his agent, and he was talking like maybe $5-6 million a year because he's a restricted free agent. That's about all I can figure. But man, even if you give him a pay raise from $800,000 to something like $3 million, that's still a pretty good value for a top end goalie.
And of course, St. Louis already has Chris Mason, who played 60 games and played very well. They have Ty Conklin, another capable goalie. So now they've got 3 goalies, and I don't see how that's a great fit either. There's lots of teams that could use Halak a lot more than St. Louis. I mean, but that's the way it goes. I mean, if you want prospects, I mean, you could have traded to the Oilers. I mean, the Oilers got tons of prospects. I'm sure they could have parted with a couple of forwards like St. Louis did and picked up Yaroslav Halak, but that's the way it goes. Speaking of the Oilers, the NHL draft coming up. We have Taylor Hall and Tyler Seguin being 1-2, the Oilers in Boston. Who do you see going first overall?
Well, I would see Taylor Hall going first overall, but the buzz around the draft tables is that perhaps reports out of Boston is that Taylor Hall's the player that they really want.
They need goals.
So, man, if I'm Edmonton, do I just slide down one spot and see if I can pick up something of extra value as far as value goes? Where, I mean, really, with the state Edmonton's in right now, I mean, I don't care if
they need a lot of help.
Yeah, I don't care if Taylor Hall's the next Mark Messier. They're still not gonna.
They're not going to be successful right away, and they do need a number 1 center. I think Seguin would be a great pick for them, and Boston has a ton of draft picks in the top portion of this draft, so they can definitely get an extra draft pick. Either that or they get another defenseman from Boston to move up that 1 spot, but I don't know how much they're going to give up. But yeah, there's no doubt about it that Boston does want Taylor Hall, so I guess we'll see what happens. And of course, you have to watch with Taborite too, Brandon Davidson, see where he goes. He could go anywhere from the 2nd round to the 5th round. I guess you just never know. But I guess it'll be very interesting to see where he lands, of course. But I guess we'll see.
Oh, yeah, like you say, regardless of whatever round he lands in, I mean, it all depends on what teams want. They might be hot or cool on a player. I just really hope he succeeds because from all my experiences with him, I mean, he's just been nothing but a great kid who's very humble, who works hard. So I just hope whatever team takes him, it's sort of that it's a player that really fits their needs. So, it sort of makes his trip, his chance at the NHL a little bit easier.
For sure. And lastly, we're going to talk about another topic kind of off the beaten path here. I guess the sense of entitlement from athletes in sports. We've read a couple stories the last little while about players in the National Football League. Darrell Revis of the Jets and Albert Hainsworth of the Redskins. Now, Hainsworth is basically telling the Redskins that, hold on, I'm not coming to work anymore. I'm done. You're changing the defensive system. It's not to my liking. I'm not coming to work. I know you just gave me $20 million, but you know what? Screw you. I want to be traded.
Yeah, reports were that the Washington Redskins were willing to release him so that he could sign with another team, but they had to do it before his $20 million signing bonus on April 1st. So he decided, well, I'll take that money, but decide not to show up for work.
Not show up for work. Yeah.
So yeah,
that'd be a pretty good deal. Take $20 million from your employer and say, you know what, hey, I don't like the new boss that we got here. I don't want to come to work anymore. That'd be nice to do. I wish we could have that kind of flexibility. Get $20 million in the bank and then say, I don't want to work anymore.
And then of course we've got old Vince Young being caught in a little bit of a mini brawl at a strip
Titans
club.
Quarterback, yeah.
He's been given about 4 or 5 chances. So I don't know. I guess what is it? Is it just the money?
Yeah, and it's always nice to have the face of your franchise caught in a strip club, get into a brawl. It's always good for your franchise. I mean, that's not a bad thing to do. I mean, heck, why not? You got Ben Roethlisberger in Pittsburgh who's doing it. Transgression after transgression, and I guess these athletes can get away with it. They're the face of the franchise. They're the star quarterback.
So do you think that there will ever be a time in which a general manager actually has the stones to basically say, okay, here you go, here's the bench,
Yeah, and
no matter how much money you make?
Roethlisberger would have been a great case. He's a Super Bowl winning quarterback for one of the most famous teams in the league. That would have sent a good statement right there. If you're Art Rooney with Pittsburgh and say, you know what, Ben, we're tired of your act. We're going to release you. See you later. I think that would have been a very, very classy move on their part.
Line 4.
It didn't happen, but he's got a little suspension, but he's back with the team now and practicing. So, and another case, Revis of the Jets. He wants to be the highest paid cornerback in the league. So he goes to practice, fakes a little headache, sends a message to the team by taking some reps off, by pretending he's got a headache. I don't know where these guys get off. They're professional athletes. They're still making millions of dollars. To pull a stunt like that, again, if you had the guts as a coach of that team to say, you know what, sit out the whole year then. If you want to act like that in practice, get off my team. We don't want you. Sure, he's a talented guy, but it has to come to a point where you say, you know what, forget it. We're not taking this childish act anymore.
But when is that actually going to happen? It hasn't happened once yet.
Well,
will there ever be an owner and a coach out there that basically tells the ticket buying public that we want to run our team a certain way, and yes, the collateral damage may be losses because our best player isn't out on the field, but
hey, my team, the Denver Broncos, has done that. They traded away Brandon Marshall, another drama queen. They got rid of him for certainly not market value. He's the best receiver in the league. He can probably get you 2 or 3 wins by himself. And they said, forget it. We're going to get rid of you. And he's off to Miami. He's hopefully will resurrect his career and be a productive player. But that's one organization that's taken a stand and said, you know what, we don't want this kind of player.
Well,
they drafted Tim Tebow, kind of a character guy, kind of going in the New England Patriots mold of just drafting character players. So we'll see how that works. But
well, hopefully you can. Hopefully there'll be more teams like that, but who knows? So, anyways.
Okay, that's our take in the sports world this week. For Sports from the Stool, I'm Garrett Simmons.
And I'm Greg Price.
See you next week.